Toastmaster. What a treat we have today. Not only do we have a lovely love story, but we also have the special opportunity to see the beginning of one of our rising stars' journey, and that is the Icebreaker. Now, the Icebreaker is actually a term that describes the activity of doing something that reduces tension and anxiety, which is an interesting way to describe the icebreaker. I don't know if you feel like your tension's being reduced, but that's what Neal's going to try to do today. And with the icebreaker, the idea is to introduce himself and to begin conquering the fear of speaking before an audience. And then lastly, to provide a baseline to gauge where his skills are today. And then after 10 speeches, we see how his skills have improved. So our speaker, Neal Sheldon, is a native Michigander, graduated from Western Michigan University in the mechanical engineering field, and now works in gas compression. Neal is the youngest of 4 siblings, and they all grew up in the blissful town of Blissfield, Michigan. Neal is an adventurous outdoors person, and he loves to stay active. He plays volleyball, both inclusively indoors and outdoors, and he participates on a volleyball league. He is an avid mountain biker and welcomes the opportunities to go exploring elsewhere. His favorite playground is the Fort Custer. So he's looking for a better playground than the Falling Waters Trail. Yes. I think we will be able to quickly see that Neal is an adventurous rising star who grabs life by the reins even if he's being dragged along, and doesn't let go until it is known that Neal is in charge. Rising Stars, it is my greatest honor and privilege to introduce to you our speaker, whose title is Hiking the Smoky Mountains. Please help me welcome Neal Sheldon.
Good morning. My name is Neal Sheldon. Of course, many of you probably already know that. So to skip the introductions, I'll open with saying speech writing is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I've attempted to write this speech many, many times, and usually gotten about 30 seconds into it when my mind jumped to something else that I wanted to talk about. And then it jumped to something else that I wanted to talk about. So, lying in bed last night, it really struck me that I had to write this speech. I really couldn't put it off any longer. And all I could think about was my vacation that I just got back from. I was in the ever wonderful tourist trap of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is just north of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Now, as Joyce said, I'm quite the adventurous. I love being outside, love being outdoors. Quite frankly, I just like being active. I sit at a desk for a living, so when I'm not at my desk behind that computer, I want to move. I gotta move, I gotta step, I gotta move, I gotta go see things, I gotta climb to the highest mountain, I gotta jump in the river in the bottom. Gotta do all of it. And I did all of it. Now, there's a few things that I learned about hiking. And I want to cover the top 3 things. Now, I had to be very inclusive with my hiking. I couldn't just pick the trails that I wanted to hike, because I went with a group of people. And not all of those people were as excited about hiking as I was. I had to pick the trails that maybe the little kids could. And I had to pick a trail that some of the big guys wanted to go. I'm going to touch on my 3 things I learned on how you encourage and make inclusive to get up those trails. Now, the first one, simple encouragement. You have to encourage those others. As you're hiking up that hill, you got 2 or 3 people back behind you. And you can tell because they're just staring at the ground going, there's another rock, there's another step. And they're going, and you're going, oh, come on, you can make it, you can make it, this is great. Look at the beautiful scenery, we're making it, we're doing it. You got it, let's go. And that works for about 15 minutes. And then you get in their eyes that they're like, listen, if you don't shut your mouth, I will climb the rest of this mountain and throw you off the top. Okay. Then you got to go to your second plan. And the second plan is to bribe them, full out. You look up and you point up that one rock as far as you can see and you say, listen, if we make it to that rock, we'll stop, we'll get water. And I've got these little nutty butter bars in my backpack. You can have one of them. If we got to walk to that point. You got to set a goal, you got to get to your goal. And they're, okay. And you get to that spot and you stop and you rest. And then you encourage them some more as you start walking. And then you got to bribe them to the next spot. No, the last thing, and what's probably the most effective, is to lie. You've got to pick that point that was the bribe point now becomes the turn before the top. It's past that rock, I'm sure. We're almost there. It's 5 minutes left. That's all we've got. You can make 5 minutes, right? Just get there. Just get there. And that'll work until they get to that rock and realize that it's the next bend around the mountain and you really aren't any closer to the top than when you started. But I urge you all, when you get to the top, it is by far well worth it. The accomplishment that you feel, and everybody else that you encouraged, bribed, and lied to all along the way, they finally don't want to throw you off the top. They're up there, and it just, the air is fresher at the top. The air is cleaner at the top. And the views, well, let's just say, I learned why they call them the Smoky Mountains. We got there, and we had to climb to the peak. The peak was not a trail, the trail was closed. So, my adventurous, rock climb all the way up. I got halfway up, and there was someone ahead of me, and I heard, I can't see a damn thing. Coming through the mist, because I couldn't even see him. I couldn't see 10 feet in either direction. And I realized just then that they are the Smoky Mountains. What did I expect other than, well, what looks like smoke? Looks like somebody was burning a pile of leaves at the bottom and it was just rolling up. But remember, if you ever go, I encourage you, hike the chimney tops. It's beautiful all the way until you run into the last 100 feet of fog. And you get that feeling of being on top. So,
I'll give everybody a minute to do your evaluation so our timer can do his videographer duties.